hearing today from the winner of our 2021 Inspiring Solutions programme. We've got Indx from Linköping Science Park in Sweden, who'll be talking to us about the Indx 2020 programme. But just before I hand over, just to tell you about the other webinars we've got coming up shortly. Obviously, today we're hearing from our first place winners. Next week on November 30th, we'll be hearing from the silver winners at Poznan Science Park in Poland, who'll be telling us about their Scale Up Champions initiative. And on the 14th of December, we'll be hearing from the bronze winners at Consa Technopolis, who will be telling us about the Consa Innovation Ecosystem Initiative. And so these are our three winners that were voted for by IASP members from all over the world. And there's some really interesting examples of different kinds of best practice. So today we're going to be hearing about connecting startups and corporates. And next week, as the name suggests, it's a scale-up program that specifically focuses on deep tech across the whole of Europe. And the Consa Innovation Ecosystem Initiative is sort of a science park on a virtual scale that they're trying to roll out almost nationwide in Kenya. So some really interesting things going on there. I hope you'll be able to join us for those webinars too. And as well as webinars, we are very pleased to be getting back to in-person events. Oh no, my slides are the other way around from what I was reading, excuse me. Let's talk about Inspiring Solutions first, since I've just told you about the winners from this year. We are soon going to be opening the 2022 edition of IASP Inspiring Solutions. So we invite everybody here today to send us your examples of best practice in your management programs. So it could be anything that's happening in your science park to help things run better, more efficient, to bring companies together. Could be education, it could be incubation. If you want to find out about previous winners to get inspired and see if there's something, some of your best practice that could be worth sending in, we have a new page on the IASP website where you can find full details. And then to apply and enter the program once we open, you can find full details at the website. You can just see on the bottom of the screen too, as well. And as I was about to lead into a moment ago, return to in-person events in Seville in September 2022. And that's when we'll hear about the winners of our next Inspiring Solutions program. But as well as that little award ceremony, we'll be talking about green and digital change powered by innovation. So obviously there's some really relevant topics that will be coming up, and I hope we'll get a lot of paper proposals again from the whole of the network. And I hope that we'll be able to see many of our members there again in person finally. Not that we don't love our online meetings, but they're not quite the same as when we actually get to travel and meet face to face. So it would be great to see many of you there. And then it just remains for me to introduce today's speaker, Inga Stern. Inga is the project manager of the INDX program, and she's joining us from Linköping Science Park in Sweden. Inga, if you'd like to turn on your camera and microphone. Hi, I'm going to take my slides away and say welcome. Thank you very much for being with us. I always really like to hear a bit more about the solutions that win our Inspiring Solutions program. So I will hand over to you for your presentation and to tell us more about it.
Yes, thank you very much. I will share with you my presentation as well. Now I think we have the right slides in front of us. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about Indx. It's a great honor, of course, for Linköping Science Park and our partner companies to win this Inspiring Solutions. I am Inger Stern, and I am the project manager since August 2020, actually. But of course, there's a longer background before this process was born. But let me go further on. Indx, who we are and what we are doing. It all started, of course, with our partners meeting in different activities and processes in East Sweden talking about their own experience of working with innovations, taking shared experience during a year or so on. And finally, they said that let us make a pilot together. The partners that we have are all industrial giants from the East Sweden region. We have Toyota Material Handling, developing and manufacturing forklift trucks and material handling services. Did I say they were situated in Mjölby? Otherwise, I said it now. And we have Väderstad, developing and manufacturing farming equipments. They are situated in Väderstad, a small town just outside Linköping. And then we have Siemens Energy with energy products, solutions and services. They are situated in Finspång. And finally, there is the Saab Group, who had several business areas situated in Linköping. So those four started together to do something together, which is quite unique for this kind of an open innovation platform. The financial solution is that we have no public money at all. It's the four partner companies who finance the whole process, 25% each, and then they also have budgets to, in the end of the process, finance proof of concept projects. I will come back to that. But it wouldn't be anything without the partners, of course. So please let me turn on a short film where they speak Swedish. But for those of you who doesn't understand Swedish, I think, or I know that there are subtitles that will say what they are meaning. So please follow me and listen to our partners.
Vi står inför en energitransformation där vi måste göra våra produkter mer hållbara, och det behöver vi hjälp med.
Den generella utmaningen för oss är ju att teknikutvecklingen sker så mycket snabbare utanför vårt företag än innanför väggarna just nu.
Vi förväntar oss att öppna upp våra sinnen lite mer än vad vi gör när vi bara själva försöker tänka i nya idéer. Vi är ett väldigt innovativt bolag, men vi vill sträcka ut oss ytterligare.
Så genom att vi samarbetar regionalt här så tror vi att vi kan skapa en arena där vi kan samarbeta, experimentera och testa, som gör att vi kan bli starkare tillsammans.
Vi 4 industriföretag står inför liknande utmaningar. Vi har ganska lik typ av verksamhet, även om produkterna är helt olika. Vi tror vi kan attrahera och hitta nya idéer på ett sätt som ingen av oss kan göra enskilt.
Östergötland idag representerar en region som har väldigt korrekt och bra kompetens för en mycket mer snabbrörlig och komplex framtid med digitalisering och innovation.
Det kan vara allt inom digitalisering, inom hållbarhetsfrågor, bränslen till exempel, eller energilagring. Så vi vill samarbeta mer, utveckla våra lösningar till en bättre Siemens Energy-produkt.
Saab är beroende av strategiskt viktig teknologi och kompetens i sitt närområde.
Och vi har en styrka i våra 4 stora globala bolag som också kan hitta synergier i processer och finansiering för projekt.
Jag tror det är dynamiken och snabbheten i att vi storföretag kan presentera våra utmaningar och få snabbt och effektivt konkreta lösningar.
So now you have met the steering group of Indx, representatives from all the 4 companies. The process The dates in this slide is actually for 2021, but the process is quite similar or very similar to the process that we ran 2020. It's a simple process during a short time, but it's a lot of work, a lot of hours, as you understand in this. What we do is that we have quite an easy application form to fill in for the startup companies who want to be a part of Indx process. They fill in, they describe their team, their technology, and what their desired project could look like with one or more than one of our partner companies. We go through all the applications, of course, and the steering group choose 10 startups to work with during the fall. They will, of course, quite soon after we have closed the application period, have this very great information, but I would say that it's very important also to give substantial information to the ones who were not chosen. What we did was to, of course, inform them that this year you were not chosen, but there are a lot of other science park activities, processes that we can offer and we can talk more about. But going back to Indx, the Indx process, 10 startups are chosen. We help them to pre-film a pitch. We have a professional pitch filmer or pitch maker who help them according to a framework how they should inspire the partner companies to curiosity and to ideation to do more together with them. Then we have a full day, which we call the pitch day, between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All the process 2020 and 2021 have been digital. Then we have 10 slots with the pitch film and a digital live Q&A session with the startups and the partner companies, and a lot of employees from the partner companies, because that's what it's all built on, that the partner companies gather all their innovation, R&D, tech people, or people that is relevant for the 10 chosen startups. In the same time, we introduce a digital ideation tool, a tool that is delivered actually from a startup in East Sweden, where all the employees, the startups and other people can interact with each other on a digital platform. And we can also have all the information with all the different IDs gathered in the same systems. During approximately 2 weeks, this ideation period is open and active. Then we choose 10 IDs, one per startup, that will go ahead to the full day, the POC day, where we work together with every and each startup and employees in different sessions. So the pitch day, as I said, all the pitches after each other with a digital live Q&A session moderated from Linköping Science Park, where the partner companies can ask how we can use their technology in different situations in their environments. During this day, we also have the most valuable pitch prize, which 2020 was received by Glana Sensors, who had a very innovative pitch. And the proof of concept event, this is more kind of divided in 2 parts or 3 parts. We start up in the morning with a 2-hour session with 5 of the companies, just to be sure that we have partner employees in one in each of the breakout session, and the other 5 after lunch. And then in the end of the day, all groups will pitch their ideas to each other, and of course to the steering group. They have to present time plan, budget, and try to convince the steering group that they would put money into their proof of concept to be done after this process. And actually, after a short break, when the steering group meet to decide on what for actually proof of concept they will go in with their budget for. And that will be announced in the same day. We had the goal to have 4 POCs founded every year, but it has actually been 5. The partners also said that the number of 4 was, of course, that they wanted 1 each, but it would be a bonus if 1 or more than 1 of the proof of concept projects would involve more than 1 partner company. And actually, both years, that has been the result. So the companies of Indx 2020 are those ones. It's actually 11 companies, because up to the right you could see both Palterion and Econo. They were innovative to send in an application together, actually, and they were chosen. So during 2020 we had 73 applications, and we found out that some of them actually were international, even though that was not an ambition for 2020. So one lesson learned is that 1 of the 10 chosen was Sixth Space from Israel, and we run the process much in Swedish, or Swinglish, I would say. So after that, we tried to run all the process in English, because the partner companies, of course, have some English-speaking persons as well. Out of those, I said 5 were selected. That was TMS Engineering, Glana Sensors, Dino Robotics, Voices, and Glitchy. And I will share with you one more short film where you will learn to know the chosen POC startups.
At Voices, we have this amazing technology that we believe is unique and it's the best in the world. The big problem we have is to find people within large organizations that can actually understand.
What we have learned during this process, or I would say that we have relearned it because you can't repeat it too many times, is that you need to step outside your small technical domain and look at real world problems. Then you can find new exciting solutions that you didn't know existed before. And we have done that several times during this process.
För företag som vi, som är väldigt små, får en väldigt snabb väg in på större bolag.
We are proud to be chosen to work with Saab Aeronautics. The project highlights how Saab Aeronautics and Glitchy share a common belief in the importance of realizing the value in innovation.
We really appreciate the opportunity that we were given through the Indx project. It has been immensely valuable to get to work together with Saab, since it has allowed us to apply our expertise in AI based on real customer needs. Now, the customer, in this case Saab, they are really keen on our progress, and we receive qualitative and efficient feedback on our developments.
Redan under eventet så fick vi ha spännande diskussioner med människor från företagen, där vi tillsammans kunde komma på olika tillämpningar på våra lösningar och idéer. De här diskussionerna kunde vi sedan fortsätta under vår proof of concept. Så det vi lärde oss under det här eventet och under vårt projekt är att vi vet nu bättre vart de här företagen står i sin AI-resa. Och vi är övertygade om att vår produkt och våra lösningar har en tillämpning inom dessa bolag.
The Glitchy platform enables easy creation of interactive virtual reality training. The project has demonstrated that VR training can be used to both upskill existing employees and ensure that new employees are accurately assessed to be able to perform tasks to the standards required. We have learned how valuable the ability to collect training data and apply actionable insights automatically is.
It's so exciting to team up with Väderstad, who is a major player in farming equipment, and combining that with our sensor technology to get more information that we can present to the farmer. Using this information, you can do smarter choices when sowing, watering and fertilizing the crops.
At Voices, we have been working with some very knowledgeable people at Toyota Material Handling. So we have learned a lot about forklift trucks and material handling and how our system can be used for teleoperation.
Knowing that Saab is such a big and successful company on the market with high standards of quality, it really gives us confidence that we are focusing our efforts on the parts that create the most real-world value.
So here you can see Axel from TMS Engineering Intelligence. He actually got a finance proof of concept projects financed with Saab and Siemens together. What TMS Engineering are doing is that they automatic quality and geometric reviews of drawings and models using AI. And right now they are discussing to go further when the proof of concept project is now finished and the partner companies are about to implement this technology. And as we speak, I think that Axel is one of the kind of person that he is discussing with the other two partner companies as well. So both for this company and for the others that are still not implemented, there could be more implementation, I'm sure, but I can't say that we know that there will be yet. Here is some words during the evaluation we did for Indx 2020, only the positive words, of course. So what did we learn during 2020 and what have we developed for this year's process? As I said, when we saw that we had some international applications, the partner companies wanted to have a more international reach. So the ambition was to have more international applications this year. We started to activate the science park networks, trying to meet this ambition. We had, for example, one governor meeting in May where the municipality of Linköping invited several governors from several countries who could be interested in our process and who later on helped us to get in contact with relevant startups. We also had a launch of Indx 2021 in June, where we, of course, inaugurated the process in a virtual reality environment, an environment that one of the startups helped us with. So in the slide you see here myself and our CEO, Lena Miranda. Our governor was, of course, an avatar himself, inaugurating the process, and we described the application, opened and presented the partner companies some results from the year before and presented the focus areas. Of course, there's a lot of marketing to attract new startup companies. As we had 73 applications in 2020, I was quite afraid that could we have a lot of applications this year as well. So we have set up an own Indx newsletter, 4 numbers a year, every number focusing on one of the partner companies, and of course presenting the startups and a lot of other interesting information. We also use both LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, the Linköping Science Park channels, to promote and to inform that now is the possibility to apply for Indx 2021. So what was the result of this year? We had almost 60 applications, which we were very satisfied with. 24 of them was international, from 14 different countries actually. And the chosen ones this year, you could see on this slide, half of them are from Sweden, and we have one from Brazil, one from Estonia, Germany, Netherlands, and the US. So we have continued with the process a little bit, of course, adjusted, and I think we will progress in 2021 with the learnings that we have, but as a proud team with the inspiring solutions with us. So thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much for sharing all that with us, Inga. That was really good to get to see the actual process, because when we read about the solutions, when you first submit them, you understandably you tell us about the end results and the impact. So it's always really good to get the behind the scenes look at how everything was put in place. If you want to maybe stop sharing your screen, then brilliant, thank you. If anybody would like to ask questions to Inga, we have perhaps use the Q&A panel below, and I'll make sure that she gets your questions. Otherwise, I wanted to ask a bit more about the corporate partners versus the startups that you described. You had to do quite a lot of work in selecting startups and reaching out to them. Was there a similar effort involved in getting the corporate partners on board, or were they very keen to participate?
They were keen to participate. I would say if they haven't made this initiative themselves, there had not been an Indx process. Okay. So actually the background is that they have already met, they have had meetings on those 4 companies during a year, where every and each company presented their innovation work, and they took experience from each other. Then Siemens Energy had their own Siemens pop-up day, where they invited startups, and they had to pitch, and then they could mingle with the employees from Siemens, and then they had quite the same thing, but during one day. And after a year of experience exchange, the other companies said that we would also like to do something similar. And then after that, they as they said in the film, they understood that they are not competing. They are industrial giants that probably could help each other out to find the technical solution for the future. So without the partners, there had not been an Indx process.
Okay, I suppose fair enough that they're the ones the startups are offering their bright ideas, but it really needs both parties to be engaged, obviously, to be successful.
Yes.
Yeah, I was interested in the video. They were already saying that they feel that they're innovative, but they wanted to be more innovative still. So they're clearly already aware that there's a lot that they can learn from working with startups.
Yes, they learn from each other a lot, I think, and They could also chair proof of concept projects, but if they don't, they could follow the other proof of concept. So if Siemens, for example, finance one proof of concept projects, they could choose to share with the other 3 partner companies, of course. So yes, they learn and they share with each other. And I think that's quite unique, actually.
And what did the startups get out of it then, in sort of terms of concrete results? They got a product off the ground, or did they actually get something? Were they enter into a formal partnership with any of the big corporates, or how did it tend to work?
So if we take the 2020 process, the information of the proof of concept that will be financed was in the end of 2020. So the spring 2021 was the proof of concept projects running together with the partner companies. And the example that I gave you with TMS Engineering is the one that right now are to be implemented in at least 2 of the partner companies. So that is what's in it for them. First, I would say that the process itself, I heard from the startup that only the process, which is very short, saves them months of verification time and marketing time, because they get so close to 4 industrial giants, even though they will not have financing for a proof of concept project. The 5 that have a POC are even more happy with the help that they have to understand the part needs. How can their offer be used in reality?
Okay, so it's sort of incredibly detailed market research, or real, I think they used the phrase in one of the videos, it was about the real world testing or the real world application, wasn't it? That one of the startups said that he had to get out of his tech bubble. Thought that was an interesting way of putting at it, that this is getting into contact with their customer, I suppose.
Yeah. But meet with other technical nerds, as Axel said.
Also, yeah. Yeah, you need both. You need the real world, and of course you need the technical know-how.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it was a 100% virtual program. Was it originally planned like that? That wasn't a pandemic pivot. It was always designed as virtual, or?
It has been, yes, because we started actually the real pilots Indx 2020 in August 2020, and then the pandemic was already a fact. So we said from the beginning, this is 100% digital. And then, of course, we were hoping that we should be able to meet during this autumn, but we decided quite early to go for 100% digital process again. And I think that maybe we would not have the opportunity to have such a lot of international interest if we said that you have to travel to Sweden, or it's both time and money for small startups.
Yeah, I can imagine that having to book an international trip, the cost of all that is, and the time, as you say, is going to be off-putting. But how did you find the building relationships digitally then? Did the startups and the corporates find that they could get to know each other well enough online, or would they like to meet eventually in person?
Yes, of course, everybody wants to meet. And if you ask me how we will run Indx 2022, I don't know yet, actually. But I see both positive and negative things. Of course, we want to meet. But what we do is to have both with the digital ideation tool, that's very interactive. And then the pitch day is everybody's listening and could be able to put questions to each other in a digital live session. So all that day you could join. And the POC day is we worked with breakout sessions. So much smaller group. So yes, what I heard is that they could really, and also what the startup said, it's so nice to work so close with all those people from the partner companies. So yes, we did. I think that people used to learn to get to know each other digital this year.
Well, that's interesting that it started out that way from the very beginning, that a lot of what Parks had in place was an adaptation from a in-person event. So that's interesting, the contrast with something that, if it was always planned to be digital, and obviously it's been very successful. So that's, yeah, face-to-face is everything.
There will be a discussion regarding next year, because of course some parts are maybe more difficult in digital, but when working in smaller groups in breakout session and with this kind of people that are not that shy, it hasn't shown up as a problem, but it's tiring. It's very tiring to work digital for a full day. So we will develop the process, but today I don't know how we will develop it for next year.
Okay, I've got a question in the chat from Hassan, who says, congratulations for this inspiring solution. There is another solution that I've seen in some science park that is a corporate innovation accelerator, and the corporates run their own accelerator inside science parks to work with startups. Which one do you think will have a better result? So yeah, comparing corporate accelerators that the corporates run themselves with a science park with a program like Indx.
I think the big difference is, if I understand Hassan's questions correct, is that there you have one corporate accelerator.
Yeah, I think the ones I know of they tend to be run by, as in I'm thinking in Luxembourg they have one with Vodafone, and so that's very valuable, but it's just one company rather than.
I've been looking for a study that Vinnova made out for Sweden, and they have described 19 kind of accelerators or innovation platforms run by one company. And I think the difference here is, of course, that we have 4 companies, and that they don't only meet with the startups. They take a lot of experience from each other, and also you can imagine when we in a short time decide on what proof of concept they would put their money in, they can also cooperate to have the money spent in a good way for all the 4 of them, even though of course they are looking to their own to themselves first.
Sure.
But of course they can spend their money in a clever way if they want. So I think the most of the difference is that we are 4 companies with different problems, but in the same focus areas.
Okay. What were the focus areas? You mentioned AI, general engineering, or
sustainability, connectivity, automatic.
Okay.
So that's, and we have tried to describe that on our website. That was quite a lot of work to describe what that means to 4 very different companies. So that was also a grateful process. Did that answer Hassan's question, or?
Yeah, Hassan, do feel free to write follow up if you had another comment. But just while you may be typing, I just wanted to ask about the funding model, because nobody's asked today, but people nearly always ask, how did you finance the program?
The four partner companies finance the whole process, 25% each. So they pay the project that Linköping Science Park is facilitating. And then they have budgets for proof of concept projects. So there are no public financing in this project.
Okay, so I guess the success hinges on having these 4 great partners who already know they describe themselves as innovative, but they want it to be more innovative still. So I suppose once you've got them, then you've made a big step towards setting up the program.
Yes.
And there's the startups. How did you said you did a lot of marketing, a lot of communication. How did you find your startups?
It was thanks to good communication, of course, and also a lot of time to individually contact different clusters, different individual startups that we know about, informing them about the Indx process and what it could mean to them. And this year also activated our international networks, had help from the municipality, the governor, as I mentioned, and worked a lot with the Linköping Science Park's marketing channels, but a lot of individual talks and marketing as well.
Right. So it sounds like a mixture of your knowledge of your network of your startups and leveraging your wider networks and partners and contacts to get a really wide pool, because that's a fantastic result if you had so many international startups when you weren't even particularly looking for them. That's clearly a sign of a program that's got a lot to offer if people are coming to you from around the world. Well, I think I don't have any more questions from our audience, and I think we've come to the end of our time for today.